Hello and welcome back to another kitchen corner, or kitchen cutlery, whatever the hell you want to call it. Either way, I spell it with a K. I still don't like it. You might not either, but that's what we're going with. So today, we got another TwoSun. This one I did kind of recently speak about with kind of one of my channel updates, but I don't really know how many people actually care about those things, so I will still cover this thing. Besides, I've gotten a lot of use out of it recently. So, as you can see, the printing on this thing is kind of off-kilter, which was kind of interesting. And then you open it up, and then, yeah, their packaging job didn't really do all that great with this box, but the knife inside of it was perfectly fine. And hey, you got a nice blade guard that works super nice for it. Fairly secure, so if you are the kind of person that wants to shove it in a drawer, well, you can do such a thing. Now, I think I had recently taken a look at the Kutlery version of this. Get that little lint off there. So yeah, this has the orange and red G10 there. You can see the texturing pretty good there. There you go. And yeah, super full tang. Looks like a little bit of a couple of scratchies there. I don't know, maybe what might be lurking on the inside as far as scratches, but hey, it really doesn't matter. Everything is pretty darn seamless. You can see kind of what maybe looks a little bit like a gap going on here on either side of the handle. But I can't actually get my finger in there, so I don't know if that's part of the epoxy or whatnot. But yeah, it's super nice and rounded over. So yeah, the finish on this guy is pretty good. I do like the look of the Damascus going on too. It's super attractive, and it's also got the hammer lines on the top there. As with the other one, this guy is fairly heavy for its size. When I say that, let's see. So, yeah, so it's basically right at or right under 8 inch. Yeah, I guess technically more or less like a little over 7.5 for actual cutting edge. But it does get a little bit more, coming back onto the bolster there. So yeah, this guy is fairly heavy, and I haven't actually weighed this thing yet, but pretty much all of them in this particular line are. So let's see, a little tiny scale. We got this guy that generally reads, 9.9 or something like that, which is fine enough. And yeah, we can see that it's 288.5 grams, which is not unreasonable for a knife there, for a chef's knife, but generally it's a little heavy for something that's 7.5 inch. The ergonomics on it are pretty darn good. You got a decent cutting there. It's has a great edge all the way down to the tip. And yeah, even the very end of the heel there is quite nice and sticky. So that's pretty darn awesome. I also do like the look of the hammer forging on this without the blacking that they've put on the blade of like the 503 or for that instance. I thought I had him on the table here, and it would appear that I am probably wrong. Oh, it's closer to me than I thought. So yeah, like this guy, the little where it's got the blacking that goes on the little blade and whatnot. This is nowhere near the same. And you don't really want to pinch grip this guy because then you only have maybe an inch on it. But yeah, this isn't a chef's knife. I just wanted to use it for the whole black blade forging kind of thing. If I hadn't mentioned it earlier, this is using 10Cr15MoV, which isn't a terrible steel. You know, it does a pretty darn good job. Basically right around, it's not going to be quite as good as VG10, but around the same ballpark kind of area as far as performance goes, which is pretty cool. You can see that this guy is quite nicely balanced, maybe just slightly handle heavy, especially if you do the pinch grip, but if you're at the back of the bolster, then you're all good. What is interesting on these guys, that I'm not the hugest fan of, is the large flare out there at the end. And I do have that problem of, if I'm using this in the pinch grip, which, well, this is a chef knife, it's usually what you're supposed to be using it for. If you're doing that chopping, you can actually end up just poking yourself in the wrist as it's going there. It's not severe. It's not something that'd be a hot spot, but if you are really just going to town, then yeah, you can feel it tapping away at your wrist there, which is probably why a lot of them end up curving back in, like more the German style. But I do like this guy quite a bit. It's nice. I did notice the deficit in the blade length when I was cutting some cabbage just a little bit earlier, and was having just a little bit of difficulty getting the blade all the way through there. Whereas I had basically broken down one of those about a week ago using the TS504-DM, which another TwoSun, but it's the full 8-inch blade that's actually a little taller and everything, and it worked out better. So yeah, there's something to consider there. It's very nicely made. I don't really have any problems with it, but it's certainly not my favorite from TwoSun, because that TS504-DM is just you know, it just adds that little extra chef's kiss kind of thing to it. Whereas you do have a taller heel on it, and it does come out, you know, to that full 8, maybe 8¼ inches there. And it does have a little bit more of a clip to it, so that tip is just a little bit more precise if you really want to try to get into some close quarters things and you don't want to break out your boning knife or what have you. I really do like those. I wish that TwoSun would try and make a boning knife or a fillet knife at some point. That would be kind of neat. But yeah, the other thing that I was kind of thinking of, like now that I've used it a little bit, I haven't really strapped it up or anything like that, but I did kind of want to get a little look at the sharpness on this little dude here. So yeah, it probably would help if I actually had the test media for it. Here we are. So yeah, we'll go ahead and I don't want to tear it. I just want it off and on. Get that light on there. Probably helps you guys out just a little bit. And yeah, it does look like this guy probably needs just a little tiny bit of strapping, because that's crazy. But it still does cut quite nice. Yeah. There's a little bit of drag there, so it's not the most polished edge, but hey, it's still easily push cuts paper. So that's kind of a little interesting there, but something that, you know, kitchen steel and possibly a little leather strap would probably bring right back, especially because I haven't really used that for a whole lot. Use it for carrots, a head of cabbage, like I said earlier. And let's see, I think I disassembled a honeydew with this guy. Some baby carrots, but those are so soft, it's kind of a throwaway kind of thing. And just, you know, some other random tests that I've had around the kitchen. And yeah, it works out pretty nice. If you are intimidated by a taller blade, or not necessarily intimidated, but you don't really like, you know, maybe it takes a little bit more to control, kind of a wider blade. So you do like the shorter ones. This is actually a pretty darn good choice. It does a great job. Like I said, this thing is quite heavy, so you can really let the blade do a lot of the work when you're doing some of those chopping tasks or whatnot. I guess if you really do like to do that whole thing. I don't actually do the whole knuckle guiding thing. I just take my time, do what I want to do, and yeah, the only times I've really accidentally cut myself, well, I should say cut myself because I don't cut myself on purpose, but I know I wear fingernail polish from time to time, but yeah, I'm not into the whole self-harm thing. That's no good at all. But yeah, the only times that I've really hurt myself in the kitchen with knives is generally when like when I'm washing them and trying to like either set them down or or whatnot. Then I'll catch either the tip or the heel on something like that. Doesn't happen often, but it does. So yeah, I will strap this guy up and kind of retest him a little bit. You know what? I suppose I could do that here. I haven't actually strapped on camera, and I know a lot of people have different thoughts and opinions on that whole thing. Generally, I've liked to kind of pull it that way, but a lot of people really prefer kind of going that way with it. It's all just kind of how you're comfortable with it. And you can see I've marked up the heck out of this side. Works quite well, though. I haven't really had any problems with it. And I've used this for quite some time. And I've just basically reloaded the compound on it once. I basically took well, it wasn't even a knife. It was just kind of a piece of metal, kind of like a ruler or whatever, to kind of scrape that off of there. The other side has kind of the harsher kind of compound there. I know it's red. Sometimes they do say that it's finer, but at least with the particular compounds that I have, that is kind of the opposite. Let me just give him a few more here. I do also have a kitchen steel upstairs. It's a Messermeister, one of their very fine versions that they use for their Elite series. So it's a little bit nicer on some steels. And that being said, it's done a pretty good job of not really messing up my harder steels like the 14C28N. Or the BD1N from the Nexus knives that I've got. So, all right, now that I've strapped the guy up a little bit, how about if we go ahead and yeah, 225, and that was probably right around where it was when it came from the factory. It has it'll shave arm hair, but it's nowhere near a laser. You can get it there, but yeah. So cool. This guy, quite like it. Steel's easy enough to strap back to shape after you've noticed that it's dulling a little bit. It's quite stout and heavy. A little bit shorter tallness on the blade there, which can make it easier for some people to control. I generally do like them a little taller myself, but that's more of a personal preference thing. And yeah, I mean, that Damascus on this thing is quite pretty. At least I think it is. It's not just the straight lines. It's swirl patterns and whatnot. It's their standard 67 layer, or 66 or 67. I don't remember exactly, but one of those two. But yeah, it does make for a very attractive finish. Not really functional, but it's nice nonetheless. So cool. That's the TS504-DM chef's knife. And yeah, next week I'll take a look at something a little bit different. So yeah, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and especially if you've gotten this far in the video, and appreciate y'all, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, yo.